My daughter was having a dance thing at her school. They had this big dance. Anyway, we all went, all the parents, and everybody's there, and everybody's got their phone. Every single parent. It was an amazing thing to watch, because kids are dancing, and every parent is standing there like this. Every single person was blocking their vision of their actual child with their phone. And the kids, I went over by the stage, and the kids, there's people holding iPads in front of their faces. It looked like we're all in the witness protection program. Like the kids can't see their parents. And everybody's watching a shitty movie of something that's happening 10 feet. Like, look at your fucking kid. The resolution on the kid is unbelievable. If you just look, it's totally HD. Why are you taping this? You're never gonna watch it. In a million years, you're not gonna watch videos of your kids doing shit you missed the first time it happened. You don't watch it, you just put it on Facebook. Here, you watch it. I want to take a nap now. And then you get to read all the comments. Oh my God! It's so cute! And guess what? They're not watching it either. They're not watching the video. These kids are dancing for no one. Nobody watches the videos on your Facebook. They see the first frame of a kid and they go, that's very nice. Okay, back to this. Nobody's watching your kids' videos on Facebook, I promise you. I'll prove it to you. Next time you take your kids dance, take 1 second of it, and then add 20 minutes of just your own asshole. Just go in the bathroom and just record your own anus opening and closing for 20 minutes. Tack it on to your kid dancing for a second and put that on Facebook. Everybody will write the same thing. That's adorable. I think I see a future star. Don't tape shit on your... Life is short. Life is very short. I like life. I like it. I feel like even if it ends up being short, I got lucky to have it. Because life is an amazing gift when you think about what you get with a basic life. Not even a particularly lucky life or a healthy life. If you have a life, here's your boilerplate deal with life. This is basic cable, what you get when you get life. You get to be on Earth. First of all, oh my God, what a location. This is Earth, and for trillions of miles in every direction, it fucking sucks so bad. It's so shitty that your eyes bolt out of your head because it sucks so bad. You get to be on Earth and look at shit. As long as you're not blind or whatever it is that you get to be here, you get to eat food, you get to put bacon in your mouth. I mean, when you have bacon in your mouth, it doesn't matter who's president or anything. You just, Every time I'm eating bacon, I think I could die right now, and I mean it. That's how good life is. You get to fuck. That's free if you're smart. That comes with. That's part of the deal. Where else are you gonna get that deal? You get to put your dick in there and go in and out. Pretty good. And if you're a woman, you get to just lay back and just have a dick just shoving in and out of you awkwardly. Anytime you want. Anytime you want. If you're a gay man, you get to just fill your boyfriend's ass with your dick. Just fill it all the way to the balls. And it's nice and warm and tight in there. And he's your buddy. If you're a lesbian, you get to do all of the stuff they're doing. And, it's a great deal. You get to eat, you get to fuck, you get to read To Kill a Mockingbird. It's a great life. So when I'm not worried about it anymore. You ever flush a pet down the toilet? I had to flush my daughter's fish down the toilet. I came home, the fish was dead. She wasn't home from school yet, so I just flushed the fish. And that's a weird moment too, because fish live in water. So you put it in the toilet, floats to the bottom, like, yeah, he's dead. And then you flush and it looks like he goes, what's it on? Shit! I was taking a nap! Jesus! You gotta be in constant motion to get any respect in this house. And then my daughter comes home. Why did he die, Dad? Come on, what am I gonna say? Why did he die? Because who gives a shit? That's the reason. That's the actual reason. Is because it didn't matter that he was alive. That's why he's dead. He didn't know his name and he didn't love you back. These are the facts about that fish's life. My daughter likes fish. We took her to the aquarium. I took both my kids to the aquarium in Boston, and we were looking at this seal or sea lion. I don't know which one. I don't care. I don't think they need to be separate things. I really don't. They don't care, and we don't care. There's like 3 scientists who give a shit what we call all those things. The scientists are going to go on TV tomorrow and say, okay, everybody, from now on, seals and sea lions and walruses and you know what? Penguins are all seals now. And we would all be like, yeah, fine. Whatever, man. Anyway, so we're looking at this sea lion thing, and he's looking back at us through the plexiglass, and he's going, ugh. They're really disgusting in person. Most animals are when you really see them. You ever go to a farm, you think you're going to see little white sheep going, bah, but they're all fat and shit colored, and they're like, bah. Jesus. That thing is awful. Anyway, seals don't go, they go, My daughter's like, what does he say? I don't know. I'm a slave. Kill me. much. I appreciate it. I don't necessarily agree with you, but I appreciate it very much. Well, this is a nice place. This is easily the nicest place for many miles in every direction. That's how you compliment a building and shit on a town with one sentence. It is odd around here as I was driving here. There doesn't seem to be any difference between the sidewalk and the street for pedestrians here. People just kind of walk in the middle of the road. I love traveling and seeing all the different parts of the country. I live in New York. I live in a... there's no value to your doing that at all. I live in New York. I always... Like, there's this old lady in my neighborhood, and she's always walking her dog. She's always just... She's very old. She just stands there just being old. And the dog just fights gravity every day. Just the two of them, it's really... The dog's got a cloudy eye, and she's got a cloudy eye, and they just stand there looking at the street in 2 dimensions together. And she's always wearing like this sweater dress. I guess it was a sweater when she was like 5'10", but now it's just like this sweater, and her legs are a nightmare. They're just white with green streaks and bones sticking out, and her legs are awful. I saw a guy with no legs wheeling by, and he was like, ugh, no, thank you. I do not want those. I'd rather just have air down here like I have. Than to look down at that shit. I see these two all the time. And I always look at them and I always think, God, I hope she dies first. I do! I hope she dies first for her sake. Because I don't want her to lose the dog. I don't think she'll be able to handle it. If the old lady dies first, I'm not worried about the dog. Because the dog doesn't even know about the old lady. This dog is aware of 3 inches around his head. He's living in 2-second increments. The second he's in and the one he just left is all he knows about. But if he dies, this lady, she's gonna be destroyed because this dog is all she has. And I know he's all she has because she has him. If she had one person in her life, she would not keep this piece of shit little dog. Even if just some young woman in her building one morning were to say, "Good morning, Gladys," she'd be like, "Oh, good," and just flush him down the toilet. Dog just keeps bumping on the drain. She gives up. Ends up just shitting on her dog for the rest of her life. You have a nice one and a shitty one.
And the nice one just dies, because that's what nice people do. I'll just die. I don't want to bother everybody. And the shitty one just hangs in there.
I'm still here. Another day of this.
Why? What the fuck for the long life? You can live too long, I think. You can live too long. Some people are 100. Get the fuck out of here. Nobody knows you. What are you going to run into somebody? Hey! Some people are even older. Some people are. You ever read about the oldest person in the world? There's always an oldest person. And sometimes you read about them because the other one just died. That's when they tell you that there's a new oldest person. Last one I read about was 114. 114. He's a teenager after 100. You know what that means? That means he's got a kid who's like 92. Who's like, please fucking die. I'm just hanging around so I can have 1 week without you in it. I mean, here's the bad news. You're going to die. But here's the good news. When you get closer, you're going to want to fucking die. It doesn't keep being good. You don't get to keep your life the way it is. Like, I'm 55. Both hands hurt. Both hands. Both my hips hurt. I'm lucky I have only one asshole. The whole fucking body hurts. When you're like in your 30s, you don't even think about it. You're like, because here's like, there's the beginning of your life, and there's the end. So like, you start like in your your 30s. You just shuffle. You don't even wear this movement. You're just shuffling along. Hey, this life is good. It's pretty cool. And then somewhere you're kind of aware that way down there, people are falling off the edge. I don't know. Weird. And then you're not thinking. Then all of a sudden you're close, and you're oh fuck, I knew that guy. Oh my god. Holy shit. But there's signs that your time is coming to an end, you know? Like they don't make my shampoo anymore. They don't make it. It's like, why'd you stop? Like, you're the only one. Nobody fucking cares about you. And so I thought, I'm gonna make my own. I'm gonna make my own shampoo. I'm gonna look it up online. I'm gonna look at the ingredients. I'm gonna make my own. And I found myself at a dinner telling a table full of people. So I decided to make my own shampoo. That's one of those moments where you tell yourself, just don't tell folks anything. You don't need to say it out loud. Just do what you're doing, die as soon as possible. Do I have a huge stain? Yeah, that's all right. It's all right, so what? Okay. No, who's running? Oh, okay. I thought they were coming to bring me something. There's nothing you can do.
Must be awful to be other kinds of stuff. You know, I'm glad I'm this. This is a pretty good deal when you consider the alternatives. Anything else, any other kind of thing, you're in the food chain. You're in the food. We are out of the food chain. I don't know if we fully appreciate the fact that we got out of the food chain. That is a massive upgrade. Because for every other living thing, life ends by being eaten. That's how all life ends. Is every single life except human life. Every life ends like this. Ah! 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 We're the only ones that get to just die old in a bed. Just, I love you. I mean, imagine if we were still in the food chain on top of everything else. Imagine if we were in the food chain. It would just be another thing you gotta deal with. You're already having a bad day. You wake up in the morning, you're making breakfast, you burn your toast, and it's too late to try again. And your kid comes in and says, "Bleh," and you're like, "Fine." And it's just, why? You get a thing in the mail that says that your phone's different and your mortgage is another company now. What? I don't get it. Then you're walking to work like, why do I even bother? Oh shit! God damn it! There's always fucking cheaters at the train station. Stop it! Do you think that sharks would be embarrassed if they knew that we could all see their fins sticking out of the top of the water? I think they'd be bummed. Because I don't think sharks are aware of that at all. I think sharks think they're slick. They swim around like, hey, nobody has any idea who's down here. And we're all up here like, there's totally a shark right there. It wouldn't be fun being a predator either. If you're a predator, imagine if every time you're hungry, you gotta chase a guy who's running for his life. You gotta, come on, dude, shit, get over here. And just hold him down and bite his neck till he shuts the fuck up for a minute. So you can just sit there and eat his stomach before you go to work. That would really suck. That's why animals just, they go, let's do this together, man. You chase the parents away, I'm gonna eat the kid, and you circle back. That's why they do it like that. Fuck it, I'm eating babies. This is bullshit. Grown-ups ain't worth the meat. Whoops. All right. Oh, shit. God damn it. Idiot. This isn't a gay voice, by the way. It's not. Shut up.
Like others, our last guest is an all-rounder. Actor, comedian, Emmy Award-winning writer, filmmaker. He is ranked number 98 on Comedy Central's 100 Greatest Stand-Ups of All Time. But what the fuck do they know? For us, he's number one tonight, Louis C.K.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm really honored to be here. I'm happy just to be here as a ticket holder, just to watch everything that's happened. The Stiller family, and that was crazy, and Kevin, and the guy that looks like Dick Cheney at the end there. A very, very nice version of Dick Cheney. He's not a lizard, I don't think. But I think I can just tell you what George is. I'm a comedian, and I do what he did. And he was the first person I knew that I knew what comedy was. Children love to laugh, but most people that make children laugh for a living suck at it. Clowns aren't funny. There doesn't exist a funny clown. If a person was funny, they'd do comedy because you make money doing it. No clowns. There's no HBO clown specials if you make a bunch of money. So clowns suck. And kids just look at them and just go, just please stop trying to make me laugh. There's nothing worse than a person who's not funny trying to be funny, and that's what a clown is. A guy waiting for a bus is funnier than a shit clown at a kid's party. So, but kids need to laugh, so the first time you really laugh means a lot to you. And I remember my first big, like, grown-up feeling laugh, and I saw George Carlin on Saturday Night Live, and he said, what do dogs do on their day off? They can't lay around, that's their job. And something went off, and I just couldn't stop laughing. And the idea was born in my head at that moment. I want to be funny. I want to be a comedian. I didn't know that a grown person could be a comedian. That's an incredible thing to me. And I had other heroes, Richard Pryor, Steve Martin, Bill Cosby, but George was like me. He was an East Coast Catholic. I had something to identify with him. And the first time I remember getting a laugh, I was in fourth grade, and they asked the class, the teacher said, there are 3 bones in the skull. Name one. And I said, the noggin. And I got a big laugh. And I thought, hey, I could do this. I could be like George. So I started doing, right out of high school, started doing stand-up. Didn't go to college, didn't pursue anything else professionally, really. Started doing stand-up. First time I went on stage, I did a minute and a half, and I bombed. It was terrible. But I wanted it so badly that I kept trying, and I learned how to write jokes. And I just had jokes, kind of funny thoughts. And about 15 years later, I had been going in a circle that didn't take me anywhere. Nobody gave a shit who I was, and I didn't either. I honestly didn't. I used to hear my act and go, this is shit, and I hate it. But I've been doing this for 15 years, and stopping now is like getting out of prison. Like, what do you do after 15 years of stand-up comedy? How do you re-enter the workforce? So I was in a really bad place. I hated my act. I've been doing the same hour of comedy for 15 years, and it was shit, I promise you. And I was working places like Chinese restaurants, and I'd do a show in a Chinese restaurant where they don't even know there's a show going to happen. They're there to eat, and all of a sudden you'd go, hey, everybody, and people are like, I'm eating. I don't want to be forced to sit in this. So I was doing a Chinese restaurant called the Kowloon in Boston, in Saugus, Massachusetts, and I was sitting in my car after the show just feeling like, this was all a big mistake. I'm not good enough. And I felt like my jokes were a trap. And I listened to a CD of George talking about comedy and the workshopping it and talking about it seriously. And the thing that blew me away about this fellow was that he just kept putting out specials. Every year there'd be a new George Carlin special, a new George Carlin album. They just kept coming, and each one was deeper than the next. And I just thought, how can he do that? And it made me literally cry that I could never do that. I was telling the same jokes for 15 years. So I'm listening, and they ask him, how do you do all this material? And I'm like, yeah. And I hear him, and he says, well, I just decided every year I'd be working on that year's special. And I'd do the special, and then I'd just chuck out the material. And I'd start again with nothing. And I thought, that's crazy. How do you throw away? It took me 15 years to build this shitty hour. If I throw it away, I got nothing. But he gave me the courage to try, and also I was desperate. What the fuck else was I going to do? This idea that you throw everything away and you start over again. And I thought, well, okay, when you're done telling jokes about airplanes and dogs, and you throw those away, what do you got left? You can only dig deeper. Start talking about your feelings and who you are. And then you do those jokes and they're gone. You got to dig deeper. So then you start thinking about your fears and your nightmares and doing jokes about that. And then they're gone. And then you start going into just weird shit. Yeah, eventually you get to your balls. But there's a whole It's a process that I watched him do my whole life, and I started to try to do it. And I started to think, because he says whatever he wants. What do I really want to say that I'm afraid to say? And at the time I was a father. I am still a father. But at the time, I didn't take off yet. The jury's out. My oldest is 8. I could still split. So far, I'm still there. I was having a lot of hard time being a father. And I wanted to say it on stage. And one night I thought, okay, forget all the old jokes. I'm going to start again. And I thought of the first thing. I said, I can't have sex with my wife, because we have a baby, and our baby's a fucking asshole. It's just what I was feeling, and I said it. And the audience went, whoa! And I thought, oh, I'm somewhere new now. And I said something like, I never used to get babies in the garbage, but now I understand it. And they did that. And I thought, I'd rather have that than the shit tepid laughter for my 15-year-old jokes. So I started going down this road. And he was always the beacon for me, always, this guy. He always gave me the courage. He says, the line that Kevin quoted, where he said people that abortion rallies are usually anti-abortion rallies, the people who wouldn't want to fuck in the first place. He opened a special with that at Carnegie Hall. He comes out on stage, you have to watch it, and he doesn't milk the crowd for applause. They're applauding, and he goes, they're all going, George, and he goes, yeah, I got to get this out. You ever notice the people, anti-abortion rallies, are people who want to fuck in the first place? And most comedians would do a good half an hour of really sweet material and couch that joke in but he just had to get it out there. So he set that example for me, and that's the way I've done my act. And since then, I've done 3 comedy specials, and I've started down the same road. It's been a massive change for me. I feel every year I've got something to work for. I'm doing exactly what he taught me to do. And on stage, I feel a courage to say what I want to say because of this guy. And anyway, a few years ago, I was about to tape my second stand-up special, and he was taping the same night. In LA. He taped his last special on the same night that I taped one. And I remember feeling like, this is amazing that I do what this great man does, and that we do it in the same way. And he died, and he kicked me in the balls when he died. It really hurt. And then I remember that, and I don't want to be doing this, I'm sorry. But later I was at it doesn't matter. And my phone rang, and it was his daughter. It was Kelly. And I have 2 kids, and they're girls. So I thought, he's got a daughter, and his daughter's calling me. And I know what it means to have a daughter, because I have 2. And she's calling me and asking me to come and say something about what he meant to me. So that was a big moment for me. I'm very proud to do what George did. I know I was supposed to close funny, but I'm not good at doing stuff that isn't my act, so I'm sorry. But he was a great man, and anything that ever happens to me that's good is due to this guy. And I can tell you, because I do what he did, that it was really hard to say the shit that he did, and that it took a lot of courage. It was difficult. So thanks for coming and honoring him, and thanks for having me.
If you ever watched the DVD of the first one they made, I'm all of a sudden the guy sitting next to you.
Yeah, hi.
Louis C.K. Louis C.K. The first one, the original, the DVD with his commentary is really great.
Oh,
you
yeah.
find out how they used, like the upstairs of the cabin, and then the basement was somewhere like hundreds of miles away or something. Like,
yeah, it was in the upstairs was in Tennessee, the downstairs was in Marshall, Michigan.
Right.
Wow. So, the magic of motion pictures.
Wow.
Somebody pointed
I
out.
hope you shot it all at once.
Somebody pointed out to me that in Evil Dead 2, every single person in the movie beats the shit out of you at some point. There's
think it's pretty
nobody in the
safe to
movie
say,
that
yeah.
doesn't bash you in the head like millions
Well, I
of
thought it was
times.
fun. Sam Raimi goes on to direct The Quick and the Dead. He's got Gene Hackman, Sharon Stone, Russell Crowe, Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm like, Sam, you going to hit them with a fucking 2x4 to get him ready for a scene? You're going to poke Gene Hackman? How are you going to get him motivated? He's like, shut up. And he didn't have an answer, though.
No. The
I love the movies. I'm a big fan.
In Fargo.
And Bubba Hotep. Did you talk to him about
we
that?
got to talk about that. I just want to talk about Fargo. And I was saying that scared the fuck out of me this
Can
morning.
I just say
going to
one
my
thing
car.
about the
I hit it
movies?
accidentally.
I know the most boring thing to do in an interview is like doing the Chris Farley. I love that part.
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
But I'm sorry.
Do
but
it.
in Evil Dead 3, when you're trying to undo the spell by saying the magic words, and he mumbles like as if the
'Cause he doesn't know
spirits
the
of
last
the
one,
dead
yeah.
would go like, "Hey, I'll give it to him."
It was close enough. Yeah, close enough.
Klaatu,
Yeah.
whatever.
And then basically that leads to the deaths of about 250 innocent people.
Because he just wasn't fucking listening.
Now that's a hero.
I want to go to Mike in Florida really fast. Mikey.
Guys we love women a lot. Like, all men do. And we just look at you. That's what I do. I just look at women. I just, like they're, cakes and windows. I just, I was walking in New York once, and there's these two very cute women walking behind me, and I was trying to walk slowly so I could hear what they were saying to each other, because they were cute. So I wanted to hear them, like that's going to help me in any way to hear them. Don't you wish the guy walking in front of us would squeeze our tits for like 1 second? Okay. It's really a flaw in men that we would all do that. If you're a woman, you could ask any guy on planet Earth, can you squeeze my tit for 1 second? And 100% of us will go, oh yes, of course. That doesn't matter. I could be doing open heart surgery. Oh yeah, okay. Oh, don't worry, he's not your tits. Don't worry about it. I don't know why we love tits so much. Some people say it's because we breastfeed, but so do women. Or, baby women. Grown up women don't usually. You don't see like a 68-year-old woman like a stately look, like Sigourney Weaver, like sucking milk out of a young woman's tit. Thank you, Deborah. I'll see you tomorrow. 2:00. It's not usually the thing, is the elderly breastfeeding from the young. Except for at the end of The Grapes of Wrath, which I don't mean to ruin that book for you, but you should have read it by now. I don't know if you read The Grapes of Wrath, but that's how it ends, with an old dying man sucking milk out of a young girl's tit. And then the book is over. And you're like, Jesus, what happened at the end there? That's crazy. There's no other book in that genre. There's no dense, historic classic that ends with a weird, porny paragraph at the very... And then Anna Karenina shat on his chest. Holy moly with that! The end. Oh my God! That is a violent shift in tone at the end of that book. I've been reading this book for 3 months. But we do, we love tits. And you always know a tit. You always know a tit. You know, like, you ever been in a crowded place, like a subway or a sports stadium, and you're smushed in with other people, and your elbow touches a tit behind you, like, that's a tit! I just touched it! I know that was a tit! I know it! Because the sensitivity of the male elbow to tit flesh specifically is unbelievable. Just the tits, because you could drive a tack in there. I'm not going to feel it. But a tit through a shirt and a sweater and a jacket. And her jacket, sweater, shirt, and bra. Somehow, I said tit, I touched the tits. I touched a tit. I touched one tit. One tit. That's rare to touch one tit. It's like a 4-leaf clover. Usually you touch it. The only time you touch one tit is when it was an accident or you didn't have permission. But otherwise, when tit access is granted, it's usually good for 2 tits at a time. It's once you're on one, you really have to screw up really badly and quickly to lose tit access between tits 1 and 2. You must have said something really dumb on the first tit that you didn't get the second one. Oh yeah, it's like her mom's dirty whore tit. What? I said I liked it. That's what I meant, is that I like it. I like your mom's dirty whore tit. I like yours. And if it's up to the guy, we're going to touch both tits. No guy touches a tit and then goes, you know what, I'm good with the one. That's fine for me. Everything in moderation. We're going to touch both. Even if something terrible happens in the middle of, oh yeah, there's a bomb! Oh shit, come on. Let's get your tits out of here. The worst part of my day, worst part of every day of my life, is when I have to put on my socks. Putting on my socks is the worst part of every day. And it always will be. Even if I have a terrible day in the future where my grandmother is murdered by my other grandmother. If that ever happened to me, the worst part of that day will be when I put on my socks. But if I have to put on my socks, that means here's what I have to do. I have to get my hands past my pointed toe. I don't even know how I do it. I'm sitting here, I don't know how I do that. It's because it's like folding a bowling ball in half. And as soon as I start, I can feel I'm pushing all the fat up into my vital organs. And I just feel all the systems failing. Beep, beep, beep. And I have to I have to lay on my back like an 8-year-old and go like this. And then start passing out. And I know other people's lives are hard. I know. I saw an interview on TV with Michael J. Fox. And he has Parkinson's. And he was describing brushing his teeth. And he said it takes him 2 hours a day. And he said it's agony. And I saw this and I thought, okay, that's hard. That is hard. And so is putting on my socks. Sorry, Michael. Doesn't make it easier to know about your thing. Tell you what, I'll help you brush your teeth. You help me with the socks.
I don't know if there is a God. That's all I think you can say, honestly. I mean, you can say there is a God if you believe in it. You could just get to say it because you believe it. You can't argue with somebody's beliefs. I believe in God. No, you don't. Yes. I mean, it's faith. It's not science. It's faith. I envy people who have faith. They wake up in the morning and there he is. They're like, oh, hi. That's so nice that you came again today. He's always there. I don't have that. I wake up and there's nobody. It's just my bad breath and my garlic penis. It used to be at least a boner that all right, let's get going. But it's just so. But I don't think you can say there's no God, because that takes a lot of confidence to say, nope, there's definitely not a God. How do you know? Just because doesn't seem like there's one? So there's not one. How can a human being think that they know that there isn't anything? I mean, you're a human. You can see for 100 yards tops. How could you possibly know? God might be right behind you all the time, just like... I think if there is a God, it's probably not the way they describe him in the Bible. They say he's our father and we're his children. That's a weird story. He's our father and we're his children. Where is our mother? How could we not? What did he do to our mom? Something happened. Somewhere in heaven there's a porch with a dead lady under it. I think God was, if there is a God, at least he has an ex-wife. Maybe that's what it is. God's divorced. And we're in hit, like this is our weekend with God. It feels like a long time, but this is just our weekend with Dad. And then he's going to take us to Mom's apartment. And she's going to be sitting there kind of nervous. I made you a cheese sandwich. And we're like, I don't know, you bitch. And it feels weird. I think that we made God a man because we wanted men to be in charge. So it made sense. Because it doesn't make sense that men are in charge. It makes sense that women would be in charge. Because your mom is the first person who takes care of you. So it would just make sense that mothers would run the world. And it's the opposite. So we have this weird system of, men being, it's kind of upside down. And I think the reason is because women were in charge a long time ago. And they were really mean. They were horrible. And you had to walk around naked and they'd flick your penis and laugh at you. So we're so scared of them. And then finally one guy punched a woman and she was like, "Well," he's like, "We can hit them." And then that was it. That was it.